ongoing feud with Team Taz, Cody, Darby Allin. I mean, it's just such a.
Just look at their faces. Look at Team Taz's faces right now. It just exudes stars. Each one of all four of them, their faces have different personalities, and it's amazing. And this is the first time we really heard announcers, and Jericho was the one who said Ricky Starks looks like a young Dwayne Johnson. Social media has been buzzing about that, and
SPD, nice
it's
job
no
pointing that out.
secret. It is no secret, man. He has got. I mean, you've preached it time and time and time and time and time again that Ricky Starks has it, and it is not easy to get it, and he has it all.
He has it.
And it was a great main event for sure. And I loved Brodie Lee Jr. picking his dream team of OC, Cody, and 10.
What a team.
It was handpicked,
I love that.
by him. It was great. And by Team Taz, the public enemy number one, essentially, for those guys. So,
well, that's
it was a great showing by everyone.
We talked about with Kingston earlier in the night where, a guy who won't stop running his mouth off. I mean, Taz won the best mic performer of the year from Bonds for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
That guy knows how to talk trash. And Ricky Starks sure is following in his footsteps. My goodness, is he good on the mic. I gotta say, I did go back and I watched Team Taz in AEW Dark, their performance, and those guys when they're in the ring together, I really like the blend of styles that they have. We've been talking a lot about it since the formation of Team Taz, how they all complement each other.
Yeah.
Adding Hook to it is a nice little touch because he kind of adds that like outside pest, which will allow
we saw some of him tonight too.
It'll allow Starks to kind of transition more into an in-ring role with Team Taz, where he doesn't have to be that outside sort of that nuisance, that kind of pest role, while you have the two powerhouses, right? When you have two studs like Cage and Hobbs, Starks has been the one that's kind of the one that runs his mouth and gets the team in trouble. Having a guy like having Hook out there at ringside adds another level where, like, how many more things are you going to do to get involved in your opponent's mind, right?
Mm-hmm.
To distract them, to get in their head. I really like the way that this team blends together, SPD.
Mm-hmm.
I think that, we've talked about it at length. Team Taz feels like, and I'd love to hear from our social media team, but Team Taz feels like the hottest thing going in AEW right now. I love the Inner Circle, and it's hard for me to say this, but I think that Team Taz has maybe overtook them as the hottest stable in the company. There's a lot to like about where this crew's going.
I think they just need more FaceTime. They need more camera time. And I think the trend will start that once we see in 2 weeks Darby and Cage.
Yeah.
I still don't think Cage will come out victorious at this point, but with Darby's first title defense. But I still want them to being in the ring more, and even just they just need to be showcased more. Inner Circle is consistently showcased more time throughout the 2 hours, so they kind of have the benefit there, as they should. Both factions are just
great factions.
Great factions.
No, I'm not. I mean, and this isn't. It goes back to what we talked about, right? This goes back to what we talked about, where just because one person's shining doesn't mean another one shouldn't shine at all, right?
Yeah.
Like, both those factions are awesome, and quite honestly, I've had some conversations with some friends. I'd like to see the Inner Circle and Team Taz get into it at some point. We've seen
that would be great.
We've seen we've seen signs of like that alpha male mentality from both groups, right? Well, I mean, I would love to see those crews go at it for who's the top dog, who's the top team in the company at some point.
Yeah.
But they're definitely involved in their own feud right now. Team Taz with Darby, that moment where we got to see Darby and Sting both come out.
Oh, yeah.
That was quite telling. Well, I will say before we get into it, SPD, I'm going to throw it over to you to give me a lead or delete of this match. But the thing that I love the most about this matchup, and I saw it throughout as a trend throughout the show, but this was such a great blend of styles of in-ring performer. I one of the things I was taking notes on when I was watching this match. You know, you look at it, Team Taz, Brian Cage, Will Hobbs, you have two absolute powerhouses in the ring.
Right.
And putting them in there against Cody Rhodes and Preston Vance, underrated powerhouses. I mean, we don't recognize Cody's strength a lot of times. Cody oftentimes gets lumped into that he's an all-around wrestler, right? He doesn't have any weaknesses. But Cody's built, brother. And you and I both know that 10 puts in the work. That dude is jacked. I really liked seeing the core powerhouses going against each other, and then you had that wild card thrown in there where you have Starks and OC, which, hey, we've seen Starks focused in on Darby Allin, but another body type, another wrestler who is a face that could make a very natural opponent for Starks down the road at some point would be Orange Cassidy. I really would like to see those two in the ring together because their styles would mesh so well. And you have such a great natural heel with Starks and such a great natural baby face with OC. I feel like so many of this show kind of felt like it was a hodgepodge of talent thrown in together. But what I loved about it, and I'm leaving tonight's show, there were so many instances where I walked away saying, man, I want to see so-and-so against again, Britt Baker versus Anna Jay. I'd love to see Ricky Starks versus Orange Cassidy. There's so many examples of
I mean, those would be great.
MJF and Santana Ortiz against, again, King. I'd love to see that more of these things. So even in a week that was a special episode, I feel like AEW did a nice job of leaving that trail of breadcrumbs, brother. I'm engaged. I love this company so much. What was your takeaway on this main event, man? How did you feel coming out of it? It's an elite out of both of us.
Hands down
which
elite.
is fitting.
I mean, this is a clear wash elite for across the board of the card. I mean, if you take away the emotion side of it, the matches itself were phenomenal. I mean, it was a home run show
Yeah.
and everything, but then you add all the emotion and the tributes to that. It just exceeded it beyond we can even talk about. But the match itself, with Brodie Jr.'s dream match handpicked, Team Taz looked strong and never made them look weak, even though they lost. Especially with the aftermatch shenanigans, the power by Cage and Hobbs. I mean, we've talked about how those two should just be running through the roster. The power of Cage and Hobbs, they should be running through the roster one by one, plucking them off. They could be doing them by 5 at a time, just the powerhouse. I mean, I love like the stall suplexes, just showing how strong they are. But then you have, Orange Cassidy getting some high marks in, but honestly, 10 and Cody looked awesome together, and 10 with the spine buster, one of probably the best. It's up for debate being the best spine buster in AEW, man. The spine buster was great. He did the Brodie bomb tribute. There was some everyone in the Dark Order had their little nuances to tribute to Brodie. It was really great. And typical Team Taz fashion, they attacked from behind at the end, and then all of a sudden, as the post match shenanigans were great. And how Darby came out and then Sting came out right after him. So they're like, he came out from the same place as Darby. Are they together? What are they doing?
That was.
It was so great.
I love, and this is one of the things I'm starting to try to like emphasize to the wrestling community, guys. I know that so many of us want to try to feel like cool and smart and like we know it, but like it's awesome to be a mark, man. I love when you have those moments when you mark out. Like, how cool was this when the lights went out? Darby comes out, the lights go out again.
I know.
Sting comes out, man. I don't know, man. It's just like, I love that. I love when wrestling has that ability to kind of like hit you right when like the emotional side of things and take you away from the analysis. I don't know. I just thought that was really cool. This moment was an awesome visual. I mean, we've had several experiences between between Darby and Sting where you're like, man, the visual of just these two alone is touching and powerful.
This is the first time I've noticed what was on Darby's face.
I said Brodie. It's because I was reading what's on Darby's face. Wow.
Yeah, this is the first time I saw that, and so you kind of can miss that on TV because so much is happening so quick. But It's a nice tribute
Very
for
cool,
that.
man. Very cool.
This was great. And then when Cody, they came back and they closed out the show very respectfully.
Man,
And
I mean,
the tough
such
one.
a
I mean, bro,
class act, dude.
Cody saying you can judge a man's character by how he treats someone who does no good. And, it's a tough segment to get through on many levels.
No, I held it together for most of the night, and then, dude, when Brodie Jr. came in and they put his boots
Oh,
down, like, I just lost it, man. I was crying like a baby, and I just gotta say, like, everybody involved again. Like, this isn't a. I mean, we here at Dynamite Download. We're grateful to be a part of the extended AEW family, and just the way that we feel connected to this product and to the people involved. And man, like, they did such a nice tribute tonight. It was
yeah.
beautiful, and I would be remiss if I didn't spend this moment while we're talking about this main event, dude. What a star-making moment for Preston Vance.
Hmm.
I'm rooting for this kid from nowhere city, Claire. I mean, SPD, you know my journey. I lived out in the middle of nowhere in the mid for a while,
Yeah.
and Preston's from Clare, Michigan, which is I mean, literally, there ain't nothing there, folks. And for him to have a moment like he did tonight, you could see how much it meant to him. Um, I hope that this kid has a real bright future ahead of him. I don't know. I felt like this was a moment that was heavy, but he'll always remember for the rest of his life. And
Yeah.
dude, I gotta say too, before we move on to the next week's show,
Yeah.
Cody, that dude is pure class, man.
What he had to do is more than I could ever done. Going out there and just like, you
Cody is
know,
pure class.
leading the charge. I mean, he is definitely leading by example. He's got a huge heart, and it was a difficult task to do, but I know he would have had no one else other than him do it.
Yeah, I'll say this too. I mean, I hear all sorts of stories from my dad about how Mr. Shad Khan is.
Hmm.
Um, we had a little Christmas get together, and I told my dad, man, like, the way that Tony has handled this moment has been so. I mean, dude, Tony's like our age, man,
Yeah.
and for him, the way he handled this moment, you are one of your catchphrases is like, mature beyond his years. I know that you always respect people who kind of have that wisdom, who don't get caught up in like the partying lifestyle and stuff, man.
Yeah.
When you look at how Tony handled this whole scenario,
Hmm.
from respecting the privacy of Brodie and his family, for months where we as fans were blindsided, but they knew the struggle.
Right.
Um, for respecting the privacy of the family, to the message tonight, signing Brodie Jr. to a contract. I have the utmost faith that like that family is going to be in good hands. I mean, I told my dad, I was like, man, Tony was mature beyond his years, man. Tony really handled this whole scenario as classy as you could possibly get. And so I got a lot of love for what AEW is doing right now, man. And I have a feeling that this company is going to be around for a long time. I've seen some people making some jokes about the contract that Brodie Lee Jr. got, and I got to say it disgusts me. And I
Yep.
think that they're going to be forced to eat their words in a positive way. I'm going to say it'll make me smile when I see Brodie Lee Jr.
We don't even need to give those people the time of day
No,
because they
no,
don't
I'm
deserve
saying,
it.
I want to say right now, I want to say, like, it's going to make me really smile when I see Brodie Lee Jr. out on AEW, because I have a feeling this company is built on SPD. You and I talk about this a lot.
Yeah.
This company is built on people who are chasing their dreams.
Yeah.
And like this company is built on people who believe in what they're doing, believe in each other, and you could see it. Tonight was a family. This was not like a company producing a tribute show. This
No.
was a family coming together to honor a man.
All hands
and that's
on
a
deck.
difference. That's a difference, right? Like this was not some overly stylized, overly produced product that was out there to get clicks.
Right.
This was a family of people who love each other, who care about each other, who wanted to honor a man that they are going to miss. And I think that they did such a difference in how they presented this product. I'm very impressed by AEW and the class that they had. And I'm rooting for this company going into 2021.